Hi friend, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and we're at a bit of a different angle here at the computer because I want to talk to you here about getting DMX out of ONYX and getting control and trying to figure out, okay, there are so many ways with ONYX if that's the control solution you're going to go with. There's so many ways to get DMX out of ONYX and so many ways to get control, like faders, buttons, etc. What's best for you? So I've got some tabs open here, I've got ONYX open, and I'm going to walk you through all of these so that you can really understand what's going on. So if we look at the hardware, we see a number of options here, okay? This is the basic hardware right here, is that, of course, you can't see me waving my hand at my screen, but we've got basically a couple USB DMX devices, the NX Touch that I talked about in the last video, the PC wing, the NX wing, and then the NX2 and 4 consoles. And of course, this is so nicely sorted as well, so we can kind of see what's going on by level of complexity. Now, the first thing with ONYX when you're putting together a system is really to think about, okay, what kind of physical control do I want? Do I want faders? Do I want buttons? Do I just want touch screens? Do I want touch OSC, wireless control, etc.? So what type of control do I want, okay? And what type of output do I need and how much output do I need? Because answering those two questions is really going to help you figure out the rest. If we go to ONYX to support.obsidiancontrol.com and go to devices/ONYX right here, we get to the ONYX licensing page. And this is where we can really see how all of the different hardware is able to unlock things in ONYX, okay? Now note, of course, this is at the time of this recording. It could change in the future, but likely a lot of this is going to stay pretty similar because it hasn't changed much in a long time. It gets tweaked every once in a while. And so we've got a couple different modes. In fact, if we click on this link here for ONYX PC modes, that walks through a little bit further. So in ONYX here, we have this little indicator right here at the side of our command line. I'll actually go over to it. And mine shows live 128 in. And you can click on it. And when you do that, it tells you how many universes you have, how many universes you've used, universe numbers supported, dial zone supported, and OSC. Okay? And so the very basic, if I have no key inside it, is free with red. Okay? Free with red means you get 4 universes, and those are locked to universes 1 through 4. Now, you can get those out via USB devices like the NX DMX, actually, that's the only one. And you can also get them out through ArtNet or SACN. Any ArtNet or SACN node. They can be Obsidians, they can be another brands. Doesn't matter, okay? So that's free with red. Now, if I attach my NX Touch, it's out of reach right now, we get free in green. Our free turns green. And free in green, it all talks through this here, is going to walk you through basically having the ability to have that OSC control, okay? Where your playbacks are now unrestricted. So what that means is if it's red, the playbacks have a random delay to them so that it's not useful in show situations, but you can test with it. And when we get free to green, then we're good for show situations, okay? We've got full speed. We can use the Touch OSC app. We can use MIDI controllers through ShowCockpit as well. But free and green, whether that be an NX Touch connected, actually I think that's the only one right now, is if you have an M Touch or an NX Touch connected, you now get free green. So OSC is unlocked. You can use those MIDI faders in ShowCockpit. You can use the Touch OSC app on Android. You can use other OSC devices, etc. Okay, but you're still locked into universes 1 through 4. You still only have 4 universes total. Those universes can come out of the NX Touch, again, the NX DMX, or ArtNet or SACN nodes. Okay, now when we go ahead and we plug in an NX Wing or an ONYX Key, which I have here, that was the mode that I showed you a few minutes ago. I'll plug that guy back in here. Then what we're going to see this change to when we refresh is live 128. So live is full unlocked mode, okay? And then 128 is the number of universes. So if you're on some of the consoles like the NX2 or some of the old Martin consoles, etc., like the M2Go HD, you will be able to get a certain number of universes based on the processing power of that console. Okay, so 64 for the standalone consoles, but if you put the NX2, for example, in USB mode, you get the full 128, just like the Wing. Okay, all available via, again, the USB devices like the NX DMX and Touch, all available via the ports on the NX Wing or the NX2 or the NX4, all available via ArtNet or SACM. Okay, with any node. And that unlocks OSC functionality as well. So the only confusing part here really with getting DMX out of ONYX is the NX DMX. This is the sore thumb in the line in my opinion, and that's my personal opinion. Is that because this technically unlocks free and green, but it's an inexpensive enough of a device that you don't get the full OSC support, okay? You do get RDM, however, which is interesting. The NX Touch doesn't have that. So take it or leave it. That's universes. That's really the first thing to think about is universes and OSC, which also applies to MIDI faders in ShowCockpit, okay? Once you've figured that part out, you just want to look at faders, right? So what kind of faders do you want? As I mentioned in my last video, I really like the NX Touch. I like the way the faders feel, but when I'm doing a high-end corporate event or a theater show or something like that, I want a little more responsiveness out of my faders. If I'm lighting a band, a smaller show, a wedding, fashion show, whatever, usually I can do everything I need with the NX Touch. But the faders, they're inexpensive, right? That's the best way to put it. And so to jump up from there, I could either use a MIDI controller like I showed in the last video, the MIDI Craft controller, and I've got a full review of that here, or I could step up to something like an NX Wing, an NX2, or an NX4. Okay, and all of these have their different price points. Now, one last thing to note is if you do want to use timecode, that's important here as well. The NX Sync is new at the time of this recording, and that allows you to get linear timecode in. I'll just click on it, and we'll show you the details on that. And then it also has the power to take MIDI timecode in and send it back out as linear timecode. Okay, and so you're able to use this on a computer, just plug it in and it works. But it's not the only way that you can get timecode in to ONYX. Okay, the other ways are with the NX Wing, the NX2, and NX4. They all have ports for the timecode, and I'm just going to double check that on the way. I'm pretty darn sure about that. Yeah, that it's got timecode on the Wing. And so, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it about ONYX, getting DMX out of it, etc. Before we finish here, I want to talk about the nodes. So ONYX also has the Netron nodes, right? Maybe you've seen these. Even this little EP4 is really well priced. I mean, let's just look at it. It's really well priced. I mean, $370 is the online list price. So if you call a dealer, you can probably do a little better. I don't know what Discount Bandit is, and I don't know if I'd trust them, but it's really inexpensive for 4 ports of DMX. But note that these nodes are just ArtNet or SACM nodes. They're nice units, but they do not unlock any output on their own. There's no licensing to them, no unlocking of OSC, etc., etc., etc. Okay? Now let's talk briefly before we finish here about configuration. So if I go here into ONYX, I'm going to go up to my main menu here and go into the menu here. And I just want to talk really quickly about configuring all of these different types of DMX that we can get into ONYX here. So very first is if I have USB devices connected, I can go to System DMX Settings. And this is going to be NX Wing, NX2 outputs. If I was on one of those, I would be able to change the ports here. Then we have USB to DMX. That's going to be my NX Touch, my M Touch, my M Play, my NX DMX, etc. Ether DMX, this is going to be ArtNet devices showing up here. And then the rest of ArtNet or SACM devices are actually under the Ether DMX tab here. We have the same tab for ArtNet devices. Then we have the ONYX settings to be able to turn that on, and the SACN settings to be able to turn that on, set our universes, set our priority as well. So I'm not going to go deep into that here, but that's just something to be aware of if you're getting into this. So if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. And coming up next in our series of ONYX videos, I'm doing a complete redo from the ground up of my ONYX tutorials that a ton of people have gone through here on YouTube. And also, we've refreshed, as always, the tutorials on Learn Stage Lighting Labs, so they're always up to date with the latest version of ONYX. And you can check out Learn Stage Lighting Labs here. Awesome. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.